Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio by my partner in crime, Ken Thomson, SportsX Radio here in Las Vegas. We are ready for this weekend football. It's week 2 of the NFL, week 3 of college football, and we're bringing you a six-pack this week.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're
normally we don't share the six-pack, but we will this week.
We will this week. All right. We're going to get things started. Friday night action, we're going to look at Air Force at Boise State. Ken, I got to tell you, Boise State used to be an absolute automatic play. Playing at home, laid the points, didn't matter what it was. But that's kind of changed. And I'm going to ask you, I got like 3 different things, and you tell me which do you think it's more of.
All right.
One, has Vegas just, adjusted the line so much on Boise that there's no value with them at home anymore? 2, is it just the talent levels dropped off the last couple years? Or 3, do you think it was the heads of the conference that took away Boise's built-in advantage? They're not allowed in conference games to wear the all-blue jerseys anymore. And that blue on blue, every other team coming in there always complained about it was an unfair advantage for Boise State. What do you think?
Okay, first off, the only game, they played Tennessee Martin last week, blow them out 63-14, no big deal. But they lose a game in Washington. And you give Chris Peterson, it's like Nick Saban, you give Chris Peterson a long time to prepare for an opponent. Usually, track record has him as the guy that's going to come out in front. I think Sarkisian's got a pretty darn good team this year. And we just didn't know if they were ever able to get past the stumbling block that they've had trouble. They've always had a lot of talent over the last couple of years, but they just haven't been able to execute and perform on the field. Keith Price stepped up big in the game. Bishop Sankey, we saw him run all over Boise in the Vegas Bowl last year, over 220 yards, another over 160 in the game, the opener. So the renovation of the new Husky Stadium, I think just everything. Remember, this is a 10-6 game, middle of the third quarter, before Washington just goes crazy. Yeah, exactly. Going a 28-0 run. And so it looks worse than it was. But Washington still, with that 10-6 lead, they were the better team. Probably should have been 17-6, maybe 24-6 at that juncture. So I take a couple things out. Washington's better than we thought. And Boise, yes, the talent level, we're spoiled. We see a Kellen Moore, guys like that, the Doug Martins, maybe not that level, but still a pretty good team. Now we get into conference play, so we find out what they're made of because they've never had a problem inside the Mountain West.
Now, and what do you make of them with the officials with the uniforms? Did you think that was an advantage for Boise?
I definitely did. There's no doubt about it. It's, Eastern Washington's got the red field. Are they going to wear red, that color red on their field? It doesn't matter. It was an advantage, and they'll say that it wasn't. But to me, if they're practicing on it, they know how to find their guys blue on blue, right, as opposed to, the other team knowing how to see where the heck they are.
Oh, for sure. Now, I got a stat for you, and I don't know this is your free pick, but I'm going to throw a stat at you. I don't know which way you're heading in this one, but following a win by 17 points or more, Boise State is just 1-9 against the spread the last 2+ seasons. That's pretty powerful, and that's a case of, because again, Boise State being a public team, and then they get a big win, everybody jumps on their bandwagon. Vegas pumps the line a little bit. You think that's catching up to Boise?
That could be. Also, if you look at conference foes, when they're playing a Mountain West Conference foe, and the spread is more than 15 points, they're 1-11 in their last 12.
Wow, and that's something that 5 years ago wasn't the case. This Boise at home was like an ATM machine. You just went up, punched it in, pulled out the deposit. Well, you know what? We've kind of danced around this one. This is your free pick. So for the first time of the week, let's make it official, buddy.
Let's do it, baby. All right, so all those stats go against Boise State. However, if you watch the Air Force game against Utah State last week at home in Colorado Springs, they got demolished in the second half. And again, I like Calhoun. I think he's a coach that's really going to step up year in, year out and get the most from his team. But his talent level has dropped hugely over there for Air Force. Look at the quarterback situation now. Owini has to play. He stepped in last week because Pearson went down. Pearson would have been the starting quarterback all year for Calhoun. He's a much better thrower, and he's a better runner. Owini really struggled. How about 4 of 12 for 61 yards passing? We know Air Force, not a passing passing team, although Jefferson was more of a passer than they've had in the past. 11 rushes, 48 yards. He did get a touchdown, but still, those are not good stats from an Air Force quarterback. He's got a little bit of help in the backfield, but not much. The defense, to me, is horrendous, and they're undersized as they always are, but this team doesn't even have any quicks. And are they going to be able to stay with Boise? I don't care what color uniforms Boise wears at home. They should blow out Air Force. Line 23.5, 24 again, well over that 15 number that I talked about, where they struggle 1-11 in their last 12 times, laying 15 or more. But Air Force, on the other hand, they are 1-4 when catching 15 or more inside the conference. So in their last 5, they've dropped 4 of those 5. I think this is just a mismatch in talent. Southwick will look much better than he did against the Huskies defense in Seattle that was really riding the crowd. J.E. out of the backfield, very solid there. And then you've got Miller, Williams, Rhodes, and Baldwin, 3 outstanding receivers that'll all get the ball plenty. I think the Boise defense will shut down Air Force. I don't see Air Force scoring more than double digits. Again, 10 or more. I think they'll probably get less than 10, right around 7 to 10 points. I think Boise gets in the 40s. I think this is a blowout. Again, it looks like a lot of points. If Air Force is to surprise them and score, say, one of the first 2 scores, you may have a chance to cover. But I'm thinking Washington's better than we thought. Boise's also better than we thought. We can't grab much from the Tennessee Martin game. However, I did tell Marco over here, hey, how tough is it for Chris Peterson to get these guys up for the home opener against Tennessee Martin? I mean, even if you blow them out, you're not going to get any accolades. You're not going to get any pats on the back because you got blown out against Washington. So this is an opponent, at least people will say, wow, you beat Air Force 55-7. It's a little better. Maybe you're back on track heading into next Friday's showdown in Fresno. Remember, that's a huge game. It's on tap, but they have a full week to prepare for that game, as where Fresno only has 6 days. They go to Boulder, then they go back for that big Mountain West confrontation, Marco.
All right. Well, good stuff from Ken. He says take Boise and lay the points on Friday night. We're going to be right back. We're going to take a look at Louisville at Kentucky. That's up next. Pregame.tv.